Hi everybody, thanks for coming back to OneMinuteDigital.com. Today I'm going to quickly show you a very simple way to start getting your gradient skills going. It can be a little bit annoying when you type something and you want it to be a gradient and it just doesn't work the way you want it to, and that is only because you need to work with the gradient inside the gradient palette tool. And I'm going to show you how to do that today and make these very simple gradients. So I'm going to make a new artboard here, and we're going to recreate what I did here. So let's make this rounded rectangle first. Select your rounded rectangle. Just click and draw one on your artboard. And make sure that your foreground is selected before you start. Now find your gradient tool, double click on it, and that brings up a box. This is what you have to work in to make your gradient. Now it defaults to this white and black one. It might come up when you do this. And there's some other ones in here too, but let's make our own starting from this. Now this line going across here is the same as this line. It's your gradient slider tools, and Illustrator allows you to work directly in the image as well as here. I generally like to work inside the palette, so I get rid of that by clicking my black arrow. So here we have our box that fades on the right is 100% black and fades out into nothing. I'm going to move it aside so you can see here that it doesn't fade out into nothing. It actually goes from black to white, and that's very annoying if you're trying to put something behind it that you want it to show through. You'll notice that you have this solid line here. If you want it to fade out into nothing, the only thing you need to do, with it selected, find your slider, find the white part of it, double click on it, change the opacity to 0. And now you see you only have black. There's no other color, and that is 100% black that fades out into nothing. So there's nothing else there, so you can have something showing through there. Let's go back, make it 100%. So now we have it going from black to white. Let's change the color. Again, these are your sliders. Double click. On the white part, I wanted that to be a nice light blue. Now it's going from black to blue. At the dark part, I want it to be a dark blue. There we go. It's a little bit darker on the right and fades out to a lighter on the left. You can adjust how much light blue is showing and how much dark blue by moving this slider around. And I think somewhere there looks pretty good. Now, as you can see in this one, it goes from the bottom to the top. It's darker on the bottom, lighter on the top. If you click, with it selected, if you click this reverse gradient, it will only go back and forth left to right because it's a linear gradient, and that's all it will do. If you want it to go dark to the bottom, light to the top, you need to change the angle. Clicking here, change this to -90 degrees, and now it goes from dark to light, just like this one over here. Just play with these angles. You can have it maybe at 60 degrees here. It looks like the light is coming from down at the bottom left, going up and fading out and getting darker at the top. All of these, you can manipulate all of these settings to get the exact one that you want. For our purposes, I'm going to start here. Now let's do some text. This can be very annoying when you type a word and you want it to have a gradient, and you make it nice and big, and you use your eyedropper and select it, nothing happens. You use the gradient and select it, nothing happens. You try your fill, nothing happens. It's because it won't let you do it without outlining it first. So with your word selected, just go up to Type, Create Outlines. You can't edit it after this, so make sure you have your type spell checked and type the way you want it, because you won't be able to change anything once you outline it. Now it's a graphic, not a font, so we can use our eyedropper, we can use this gradient tool, we can make it the same as this one with the same effects written to it. What it tends to do, though, is to take the angle back to 0 degrees. And you can see each letter has a gradient. It goes dark to light, dark to light, dark to light within each letter. It's not smooth like this one. The way you change it is just select it and change that arrow, the angle, to 90 degrees there. And now if I put it right on top, this kind of has the effect of going dark to light. Inside the letter is light to dark, almost like it's the same, it's part of one piece. Just play with these angle settings and these color sliders until you get it exactly the way that you want it. And if you want it to fade out into nothing, let's say you wanted the light blue part to be nothing behind it, just change the opacity to 0. And now you can see you can do all kinds of great things with these by manipulating the sliders and the colors. And take that back the way it was. There we go. Now let's do this little sphere down here. Using your ellipse tool, hold down Shift, click and drag, and that still has the effect written to it that this one did. because we have our gradient selected. We're going to change the type of gradient to radial. And you can see that it goes from the center of the circle light to dark on the outside edge. We can play with these sliders. We can reverse the gradient. If you're making a sphere, have it be light in the center. That's where the light would be hitting it if it was an object, and getting dark on the outside. You can also, if you select the gradient tool and get this little arrow again, or this line again, you can grab it and move it up a little bit so it's a little bit off center. So maybe light is coming from the right and shining down on it. It's a sphere, so it's getting darker at the bottom. So now you have a nice dimensional looking sphere. This little reflecting tool, again, is just another ellipse tool. Hold down Shift, click and drag. Gradient, it has the same effects written to it. The way you make it look like a reflection is just change the colors. Double click, change it to white, double click, white. It makes a solid circle because it's white fading into white. It needs to fade into something else. In this case, we want to make it fade into nothing. Make the opacity 0, flip it, and now we have a nice little reflecty looking thing. If you get close to it, you can see this hard edge. We don't want to really see that. That looks like it's something else. It looks like a pimple on this sphere. So you just need to, again, play with, bring that reflection back to the center, and play with your sliders. And maybe make it a little bit, have a little bit more nothingness showing. There we go. And it gives it just a little bit of a reflection. And it looks like light is hitting it and shining and fading out as it gets to the other side there. This little shadow here, it's just another one of these gradients. I just clicked and dragged. It has a white effect written to it because we just did that one. Change it, black, and black. And now if we move it down, we can see it's right there in the center. That does not look like a shadow, but if we select it, go to our aspect ratio and change that to 20%, it squishes it and gives us a nice little, looks like that ball is hovering. It's a little bit dark. So again, just change the opacity on the darkest part to maybe 40%. And now it's just a little shadow, and it's great if you're, this will work for a logo. It could be an O in part of your, in a word in part of your logo. It just adds a little bit of dimensionality, only using the very simple tools that are inside this gradient palette. You don't have to use the gradient mesh or the 3D or get too involved, and you can do it very, very quickly. Thanks so much for watching. I hope this helped you, and until next time, bye-bye.